Hi, this is Mr. B. I'm going to talk about the STEM project here that's called Writing Expressions with Google Sheets. This is a cool project because we're going to get Google Sheets to actually do the hard work for us. We're going to make it do the work, and then we're just going to do the easy stuff. I want to show you a couple things about Google Sheets first. Google Sheets is a spreadsheet program. It's just like Excel, Microsoft Excel. You may have heard that before too. Google Sheets has a lot of columns that you see here with letters, so D, E, F, and then there's a lot of rows that are numbered. So as you move around the sheets and you are clicking, if you click on certain things, you'll see that it gets highlighted with a little box right here. Each of these little boxes is called a cell, C-E-L-L. So the cell has a name and it goes by the letter and the number. So this is cell C20 right here. And then here is cell D24, and you can just see it highlighted in the column and the row right here. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we can make Google Sheets do the hard work for us and make it do the calculations. Here we have some boxes right here. This is kind of what it's going to look like. By the way, I also want to tell you that these sheets are locked. So if you try to type in any of these cells, it will tell you that you may not edit these cells, but you can type in these certain boxes. So you're allowed to type here, but not just anywhere. That way you don't accidentally delete something like, oh, how did I do that? I deleted something. So we don't want that to happen. So we just allow you to type in these boxes here. We have an answer box. We have a couple of variable boxes right here, and then this is our instructions. We want to type in the expression 5 times x. That means 5 times whatever number I put in cell D6 right here. 5 times that number plus that number, whatever number I put in cell D10, and then we're going to subtract 14, and the answer will magically appear in cell F8. That means I need to start in cell F8 and write out this expression. So I need to make sure I can view the formula bar. The formula bar is this box up here. You'll see fx right here. That just is a function right here. And then we're going to type in an expression. Actually, we're going to type in an equation, because an equation always has an equal sign. And whenever we type in instructions to Google Sheets on calculating something for us, we need to start with an equal sign. So really we're typing in an equation. So remember this, anytime we're typing in our expressions, start with the equal sign. It will not work if you don't have the equal sign. The equal sign tells Google Sheets, hey, I'm typing some instructions for you to do some math stuff, so you figure this out. So we have an equal sign here. We want to do 5 times x. So I'm going to type the 5 times, so this is going to be shift 8. We're going to use the asterisk or the star for multiplication. So 5 times, and we want this is our variable x. Now we're not going to use the letter x. We are going to use this cell. I'm just going to click right in the cell, and look, it automatically populates with the address D6. Now you can type in D6, that's fine, or you can just click in the cell that you want, and what you're telling Google Sheets is, whatever number I click here, I put in here in that cell, I want you to multiply that by 5. So we're going to continue on here. So I'm still up here in my address, in my formula box here. I want to add whatever I put into cell for this variable y. So I'm not going to type in y, I'm going to just click in that cell, D10, and then we're going to subtract 14. So I just type in minus 14. I hit enter at that point, enter, and it gives me an answer already. It's already kind of calculating because it's taking a look at this box right here, and it's doing the calculations. It's saying, okay, this must be 0 because there's nothing in it, and 5 times 0 is 0, and then it's adding 0, and then it's subtracting 14. That's why it's starting right off the bat with negative 14. So let's go ahead, if we put some numbers in here, if I put 10 here, it's going to start calculating immediately. It multiplies that by 5, it subtracts 14, and then I could put let's just put like 4 in for y right here, and then it adds 4. So it's automatically doing the math. Notice I did not have to grab my calculator and calculate this. I just typed in the expression one time and that's it. I'm not typing in expressions here, I'm just typing in the numbers I wanted to fill out. So this is what we're going to do in our projects. Now, here is our practice sheet. This is just an introduction. This is not your project right here. This is just a practice sheet. We're going to look at a swimming pool right here. We're going to find the perimeter and the area, and we're going to fill out this table with the perimeter and the area for these lengths and widths. So what is the perimeter and the area of a rectangle with a length of 8 and a width of 6, or a length of 12.8 and a width of 3.5? Well, instead of doing all the calculation on our own, all we have to do is type in an expression or an equation, since we are using an equal symbol, and then have Google Sheets do the work for us. So let's start with perimeter. What is the perimeter of a rectangle? Here's our equal sign. Well, the perimeter is going to be 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. In other words, there are 2 lengths we want to add together, and there are 2 widths that we want to add together. That's the perimeter. So 2 times, that's 2 in the asterisk or the star. Now the length, remember, we're not going to use a variable, we're going to use a cell to represent that variable. So for the length, it's going to be cell E13. Remember, you could just click here, or you can also type E13, just like that. So that's 2 times that length number plus 2 times the width number. I'm just going to click on that cell right there, and that's all I have to do. I hit enter, and it's ready for me. It's already given me a 0 right there. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for area. Before we put any numbers in here, remember these are the variables. These are not what we type an expression in. We just leave them blank for now until we're ready to start filling in our table. So here we're going to put in our area. How do we find the area of a rectangle? Well, let's type in our formula. Okay, equals, always start with the equal sign. We need length times width. Well, that'll be easy. So length, I'm just going to click right there. There's our length variable, which is an address. Remember, so Google Sheets is not using variables, it uses addresses for the variables. Times symbol, and the width, we just click there and then hit enter. There we go. So it's already calculating for us. It thinks that the length and the width are both 0, so it's giving us 0 for area and perimeter. Let's go ahead and start filling in the information with the information in our table. Length is 8, width is 6. So let's just put in an 8 right here and a 6 right here. Oh, that was hard. We got all the information already. 28. So now I'm typing in the answers that I already see here. 28 is the perimeter, and area is 48. So let's go ahead and just type that in. That was easy. This is a harder one. How long is that going to take to calculate? Not hard at all. We just type it in. There's 12.8. We're going to put 3.5 for the width, hit enter, and our answers appear right here. All we have to do is type in those answers into our table. The perimeter is 32.6 and the area is 44.8. So that's how we can do a lot of our projects. So down here, of course, I'm moving along the bottom down here, by the way. So there are tabs down here. This is the How To tab, and then right next to that is the STEM activity. Now this is your activity. This is what I'm grading right here. There's one example that I worked through. This top one is an example. The rest are yours to work through. So if we take a look at these, this example, this follows the same idea. Here's a rule, okay, and I want you to just type in here. This is the output. This is where I want your answer to pop up right here. And then our input is the variable. So our output is where we're going to type in this expression right here. How would I type in 45 increased by m? What expression is that if it's written in math? You should be thinking it's 45 plus m. You can also switch those and say m plus 45. That's fine. But 45 increased by m is really 45 plus m. Whatever m is, whatever number we decide to put here, we're going to increase it by 45. So let's come here to this. This is our output right here. This is where we want our answer to appear, and that's where we're going to type. So we're going to begin with our equal sign, always, and we're just going to say 45 plus, and now instead of m, what are we going to put in? this right here. This is the cell that's right above the line right there. So I'm just going to click on that, and that's it. I'm going to hit enter because it's already where I want it to look. So here's 45. So it's already thinking, okay, well, m must be 0, so 45 plus 0 is 45. Now here is where we want to put another answer. Here's a question. What if the input was 12.5? In other words, what if I put in 12.5 for m? So let's go ahead and come over here, 12.5, hit enter, and I get a little sign here that says, hey, now I want you to type that answer into K16 right here. So 57.5 is our answer. I'm going to come over here and say 57.5, and then that is what I want to end up doing right there. Okay, this is what your project is. You're going to go through, read the rule. This is the phrase. You're going to type that expression mathematically in here using these as your variable, the cell address as your variable, and then input this number here for your variable, find out what your answer is, and type it in there. And that's it. If you get it correct, you will see a sign that says, you're correct, that's it, great. When I grade these, I'm going to be looking at these formulas. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to say View, Show Formulas. And then look, I can see the formulas appear here. This is what you will type in. And this is what I'm grading. So if you are tempted to just say, I'm just going to go ahead and do the math and just type that in that gray box, and I won't have to work with formulas and stuff. Well, that's what I'm grading, is to see whether you have formulas correctly placed in there. And secondly is, did you just put the number in here and get that number right? But this is really what I'm grading. For the accelerated classes, you have a few other types of questions in here. They get a little bit more complicated. They get some two-step equations that you're going to have to put in here, and then there's also these right here. These types of problems just represent some real-world problems. Here's one example where there's mangoes and pears, and you're finding a total cost for an unknown number of mangoes and pounds of pears. Just keep in mind that you're only typing an expression here. That's it. You're not typing expressions anywhere else. No other place has expressions. Also, you're not using a calculator to calculate the answers. You should never have to do that. Remember, we're making Google Sheets do all the hard work for us. You only type the expression here, and then you fill in these, the mangoes and pears, with however many mangoes and pears you want to buy. In fact, you will come down here and answer these questions, inputting, for example, 8 mangoes here in this cell, and 3.5 pounds of pears here in this cell, and then see what the answer is, and then type that answer here. You should get some feedback saying whether you're correct or not. Same thing with these others. You want to type in an expression here. That's the only place you do an expression. You don't have to calculate. You don't have to get a calculator. You don't have to use paper and pencil. You simply put your expression here, and then as you fill out this table, you fill it out with hours, and it will show here with your answer. And then you just get your answer and you type it in place. You should get some feedback as to whether you're correct or not. Same thing here. It's a total cost equation right here, and then you simply look at these two questions, fill them in with these numbers, and then see what your answers are. Type your answers in here to see if you're correct. All right, that is the project right here, everybody. Enjoy it.